What's up? In this video I'm going to take a look at the Corsair Harpoon RPG computer gaming mouse, and I'm going to give you a brief overview of what the mouse is and its specifications, and I'm also going to give you a small review of how it's been for me, like how do I like it. So here we go, here's the box. It's a nice looking box, but that doesn't matter too much. Let's look at the features. It has 6K DPI. I really don't know too much about DPI. All I know is that you can switch between different DPIs and you can go all the way up to 6K. It is lightweight at 85 grams, and that was a big deal for me when I bought this mouse. I really wanted the 85 grams. Actually, I didn't buy this, I got it for Christmas, but the reason I asked for this mouse specifically was that it was 85 grams. Another thing it has is dynamic multicolor. You can see this Corsair logo here on the back of the mouse actually lights up and it changes colors, and I think you can adjust this, customize it in the Corsair program called Q. But yeah, I don't care about the lighting, and I'll show you what I mean later. And let's see, on the back it says 6 fully programmable buttons. It's pretty sweet. We have 2 on the side here, and on-the-fly DPI switching, which is this button here in the middle. This is by default set to change the DPI when you press on it, and there are 5 different settings. Dynamic multicolor backlighting, again the backlighting, and textured rubber side grips. So yeah, those are the main points they list on the box. And now I'm going to show you the mouse itself. Alright, here we go. Here is the mouse. As you can see, the cord goes in the left side. This is a bit unusual, and some people might not like this, but personally I didn't find it made any difference from having a cord in the middle. And it also has this big space here between the 2 buttons, and a space for the scroll wheel. Not entirely sure what the functionality of this is or the purpose, but it doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I like it, and it has this nice textured rubber on both the left side and the right side, and they have tiny triangles on them. Yeah, tiny triangles that make it very easy to hold your grip. And you know what, I've got to admit, this mouse is the most comfortable mouse I have ever used. When it comes to just resting your hand on it and being able to grip it comfortably and effectively, this mouse is amazingly good for that purpose. I can't understate that. You might have also noticed that I have tape here on the lighting thing. And I do this because personally, I don't get the whole lighting thing. I mean, when I was looking at different mouses before asking for this one for Christmas, I saw that every single gaming mouse out there nowadays has this stupid lighting on them, and as if it's supposed to be cool or something, but I don't find it to be cool whatsoever. And I noticed on this particular mouse the light was actually really bright. It was too freaking bright, and I just couldn't deal with it. And I also know that blue lighting and white lighting, especially LED, are not healthy for you. They're harmful to your vision and to your sleep cycle. So I would prefer not to have that like lighting directly at me, especially when it was so bright, because it was really bright. I do not like that fact. But luckily I was able to buy some electrical tape and just tape it over, and I don't even feel the electrical tape when I use it, and problem is completely solved. But if I had light coming from in here, like the scroll wheel or something, I wouldn't be able to cover that. So luckily this mouse does not have that, so that's definitely a plus. When it comes to the DPI switches, I use the one which produces a white light. I actually don't have access to the Q software which you use to program the mouse. It's only available for Windows, so I'm not able to program the mouse in that way. I did actually find a software that was able to program this mouse on a Mac despite despite there being nobody knowing anything about how to program mouses like this on the internet, I figured out a way, and I also made another short video where I discussed that app. I used the white one by default. I don't know what the DPI is for that, but I know it's the third one up. The mouse is super lightweight. As I showed you on the box, it says 85 grams, and let me put this to the test. It seems to be correct. It's around, I mean, it's very hard to show you on the camera, but it seems to be around 80 grams, and I think you can barely see that on the camera. So yeah, it's pretty lightweight, and this is really nice. The best mouse I've ever used, and it's a small BTO laptop mouse. It's like smaller than this, and this is I guess a medium to small gaming mouse. Even smaller than this. I can actually show it to you. This mouse right here. This mouse right here is super lightweight. It's not a gaming mouse whatsoever. It's designed for notebooks. For whatever reason, this is the best mouse I've ever used when it comes to gaming. I don't know why, but I'm just so perfectly able to do hand movements. I have such good control of the cursor, basically. And this is so imperative when it comes to playing video games. And the thing about this mouse is this one is 50 grams. So I realized this is way less than my other mouse, which sucked. And that was falling apart, basically. So when I was looking for which mouse to get, I drifted towards the lighter mice, such as this one. I do find that this mouse is actually extremely good at controlling the cursor. Just like the small mouse I showed you, this one is, I would say, maybe 90 to 95% in terms of performing as a great gaming mouse. One cool thing about this mouse, which I find to be a pretty nice feature, because not all mice have this feature, is you seem to be able to use it on every surface. So it works on the table, it works on my board meeting mouse mat or mouse pad, whatever you want to call it. It works fine on that, and I actually use it on this because it seems like it's probably designed to use on mouse mats, and it's the smoothest on this surface compared to this or paper. But yeah, it works on all three surfaces: paper, just the table, and also the mouse mat. So it's great in that sense. The scroll wheel is textured rubber. I would guess it's the same as what you find on the sides, and it's extremely good. The grip is so incredibly good. In addition to the rubber, there are these grooves that sort of go diagonally on the scroll wheel, and it makes it extremely easy to use the scroll wheel. The scroll wheel does make some noise as you use it, but not near as much as what certain other mouses do. I mean, it's not a bothersome amount of noise at all. The clicking, on the other hand, actually makes some noise. It's not super loud, but it's actually louder than my previous mouse, and it is noticeable. Like, if anyone's in the room, they're definitely going to be hearing your clicking, unless there's some music in the background. It's not an issue to me though. I don't mind the loud clicking. So I tested out this mouse playing CSGO, Heroes of the Storm, and StarCraft 2. So the mouse seemed to be pretty damn good in these games, but I have to admit, it took some time getting used to using this mouse in these games, and I'm not sure if it's just the fact that it's a completely new mouse and it's a very different experience. My previous mouse was 140 grams, by the way, compared to this one's 80 grams. So there was quite a bit of a difference. It took me about a week, but after a week, I was playing probably much better with this mouse. And I do find that when it comes to gameplay, this mouse performs extremely well. If you're a professional player, I imagine it might not be up to your standards, but to me, this mouse is almost perfect. I would say I'm a tiny bit annoyed by the mouse button in the middle. Actually, it seems maybe a bit too big or something, or too sensitive when it comes to pushing on it, because I find myself pushing on it occasionally by accident, and when I do that, I have to press this 4 times again to get back to my DPI setting. This probably wouldn't be an issue if you are a PC user, because you are able to reprogram this middle button to do whatever function you like. At least that's what I suspect. These 2 side buttons, they're pretty good and comfortable, the feeling that they have. The only thing is, I would say I feel like the button back here is a bit too far back. Maybe it's just the way I grip it, but I find that this one right here is super accessible and your thumb kind of rests right on it. But this one, you have to like push up at the top of the mouse, and it's a bit weird. And in games, I think that could be maybe not optimal. So these two mouse buttons, as I told you, I was able to program them despite not having the Q software. I programmed this to zoom in and zoom out of Final Cut Pro on the timeline. And to me, this is a perfect utilization of these two buttons because there are no buttons here, and I have these two buttons, and I don't need them in any games. So using it to program for features in software that I use actually a lot, it is a great purpose. So all in all, I would say I have to give this mouse an 8 out of 10. I really think it deserves that amount because not only is it an affordable price, I like the fact that you can get this thing for $30, and it is definitely a very powerful gaming mouse. You can change the DPI, you can customize the color, you can customize these two buttons. The grip is extremely good. I didn't even mention it, but the texture on top of the mouse feels really nice. I like the way it looks if you look away from the light here, which I've covered up with electrical tape. Other than that, I really enjoy the way it looks, the way it grips, the scroll wheel. It's a great mouse. You know what? I'm going up to 9 out of 10 because there's nothing wrong with this, and I highly recommend it. I don't know of many other mice these days that have such a low weight, and it's just something that I really enjoy. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this review of the Corsair Harpoon RPG gaming mouse, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.